In the beginning, God. These 4 words launched the first of 66 books in the best-selling book of all time, the Holy Bible. What better way to begin than right here, especially since we live in a country where 96% of Americans say they believe in God. You know, when astronaut Buzz Aldrin stood on the surface of the moon decades ago, he gasped at the galaxy and let loose these familiar words into the expanse of the universe. Quote, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." Psalm 19. He was acknowledging God's existence and his role as creator, just as our founding fathers did in the beginning of the Declaration of Independence. But today in America, there exists a small yet vocal, well-financed minority of individuals whose primary goal is to remove any reference to God from the public square and reshape our country into what would be a religion-free zone. Now, articulate advocates of this new atheism are Oxford evolutionary scholar Richard Dawkins, author of the New York Times bestseller, The God Delusion, and freelance thinker, the late Christopher Hitchens. Now, Dawkins states that religious instruction is a form of child abuse, and when asked about the origin of life, he suggests that maybe aliens from outer space arrived to get the ball rolling. No absolute truth? Well, let me bring a pizza delivered to your door and withhold the scrumptious delight saying that you didn't pay when you did. You'd say, hey, that's a lie. It'll always be a lie if you try that. Or how about witness someone strap on a bomb and kill innocent children? You'd say, that's murder. It's always murder. How about observing someone shove your maybe frail, disabled grandparent out of the grocery store line to steal his or her place in line? You say that's stealing, that's taking the spot, it's always wrong. Well, I thought there were no absolutes. Might they be absolutely wrong? Now, people want America like Amsterdam. There are individuals, and I say if we snooze, we're going to lose. A while back, I was going to the airport in a van with a 20-something young man. He was seated right with me, and he told me the account of his pregnant wife's recent death. While driving home, I dozed, he said, for a few seconds. And rebounding, I found myself drifting into the next lane, and then it was too late. The truck hit her side. I lost the love of my life and our first child. There's people that speak tolerance. Well, now tolerance means different. Historically, it meant respect for people's beliefs. But today, it means respect for others' behavior. In other words, there's no absolute standard of morality. Every man does what's right in his own eyes. Where does this lead? Well, I've been to Amsterdam, and these are the realities when you're there. Abortion on demand, euthanasia or mercy killing. There's forms of infanticide, same-sex marriage, recreational drugs in coffee shops. How about on the streets? Sex shows, open explicit pornography, prostitution, 27,000 ladies sitting in windows, explicit homosexual, lesbian, bisexual, transvestite activity. There's public nudity, sex change, a reassignment. It's subsidized. And then the age of consent for sexual activity, 12 years of age. Now, in this chapter, we're going to examine things like the American Civil Liberties Union and how about separation of church and state. Now, first, our Constitution was designed to give us freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. And that's why the early settlers fled religious persecution in England to come here in the first place. They wanted no state church as in England, but also no interference with religion as in England. Second, the phrase, the wall of separation between church and state, that's nowhere to be found in the Constitution. It comes from a letter by Thomas Jefferson to the Danbury Baptists in 1802. He was reassuring them of a wall preventing government from interfering with religion or denying people's right to freely exercise their religion. It's time to stand for the truth. And in this chapter, that's what we'll look at.